don't see messing with me. On my phone.
5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. All engine.
Whether you've been married 1 or 20 plus years, at some point, you realized you were married into crazy.
And that's what our podcast is all about. We offer love, laughter, and a dose of reality as we unpack this crazy thing called marriage.
So sit back, relax, and get your ear hustle on. It's time to start the conversation.
All right, let's go.
Making noise.
Welcome to episode 99
99.
of the Married into Crazy podcast. What was that?
What?
Was it the 99? That voice you just made?
It was me saying 99.
Look.
Why are you trying to shame me?
Look, I'm just saying, look, hey.
Don't voice shame me.
So, even going on 24 years of marriage, you still learn new stuff. Like that voice, I've never heard that
I'm
voice
not telling you the truth.
in 20-something years. Ever. When have you...
Oh my God. Oh, okay. Let me see. It was in 2003. What?
Oh, okay. I'm glad you can recall
Seriously?
that. No, seriously, it's funny. That's the one thing about relationships that are amazing, that no matter how long you're together, you discover something new all the time. You know, and then they'll swear, that's always been like that. Like, it's like, fellas, it's like when you walk in the closet
I knew he was going to say that. I knew you were going to bring that up.
and you see this blouse or these pants or this outfit, something, and it's got this tag. And you're like,
First
"Whoa,
of all,
wait, hold
let
on.
me-
I got the mic.
Okay, go ahead.
And it's like, oh, babe, did you buy something new? Please, I always had that. That's old. I just haven't worn it yet. I'm like, I don't know. I walk in here every day and I don't remember them tags.
Okay, first of all, it's not like when you walk in the closet, you're looking through my stuff. Are you looking through my stuff?
No, first of all,
Because I have
when I
clothes
walk in the
my
closet,
I have the mic.
okay,
I have clothes in my closet that still have tags on them. I haven't been shopping and I don't know when. So therefore, it was true.
I've been bamboozled. I've been misled, led astray,
Run amok.
run amok. She's run amok, buying stuff. That should be, anyway. Hey, we want to welcome
I do
you
this shopping though.
to the latest episode. See, this just went the wrong way. Want to welcome you to
This is what
episode
we're gonna talk about
99.
today.
Did we say that already? 99. 99
Yes.
weeks straight. We've been bringing you nothing but fire.
Yes.
No, just having a lot of fun. Look, that tells you that relationships are so complex.
Hold on. I'm Snooks.
And I'm Lovey.
Okay, go ahead.
Did we not say that? Probably not.
I don't think I said Snooks.
I'm sorry. I just went in. I just had these visions of I had to.
Lovey be trying to cut me out. It's okay. I ain't going nowhere.
I don't know. I just went nuts. See, there was all chaos when I started thinking about you and shopping again. See, I need counseling. I need coaching. I need some marriage coaching when it comes to your shopping.
Really?
Hey,
Right.
so no, but we've been able to talk 99 straight weeks.
Mm-hmm.
I got 99 problems, but a topic ain't one.
Ooh, look at you.
So we've been talking for so long, and yet
How
we
long
never get
have we known?
right.
Let it even go. Never mind.
No, but it's one of those things that I think that relationships are so complex that there's always something to discuss.
Mm-hmm.
Always.
Well, yeah. I mean, because every day something happens that, even if it's what is it? Something had happened that's happened before, but now there's a little bit of a spin on it, so it becomes a newer thing or something. You always have something to talk about.
Yeah, so true. It's kind of like the Bible. No matter how many times you read it, you think you're reading the same thing, and you are. You might be reading the same scripture
well,
time and
yeah.
time again. No, you are. You're reading the
Find
same,
different new meaning.
but it has different meaning every single time, or there's different nuance, or it takes on a new life, and
Some
yet
depth.
Huh?
Depth.
depth.
Yep.
Okay. Oh, I was like, what did you say? John. I was like, Johnny Depp. I don't understand what he got to do with all this. But and that's funny. So that's what we enjoy. We love. If you haven't already figured it out, talking about marriage, talking about relationships, sharing our experiences as well as those of other couples that we've encountered across the world. So I got to do a quick shout out to the male's perspective. It's another podcast. We had talked about it last week in the last episode, and I had said that we were going to, or they had invited me.
I wasn't invited. Don't say we.
I was invited
said we.
because I'm the only male. She may be the female, but I'm the only male. and actually was invited on. So last Friday I did a
I should have been on
Facebook
there
Live.
too, though.
You were represented by me.
Playing.
And so we talked about, they're talking about a series about divorce right now. And so it was great. It was a great time with Sean, Words, Richard, and Ferran. I was like, I know, forget somebody, Ferran. So no, it was a good time. So please go over to Apple Podcasts, check out The Male's Perspective. You can listen to what we discussed last week. Actually, it was released on Tuesday the 28th. Earlier today, it was released. So go check it out. It's a great podcast, great group of guys giving the male's perspective as it pertains to relationships. But we here at Married into Crazy, we give the couple's perspective.
Yes.
Speaking of couple's perspective, this past weekend, we had our Married into Crazy communication workshop.
Yes.
It was like the third or fourth one that we've done, and it was amazing.
It was the third one.
It gets better and better every single month.
I think, well, for me, I feel like I get more comfortable, so.
Comfortable. We're not going to go there again. I'm going to leave that alone.
Wow, seriously. Anyway.
Okay, he said, she said. We haven't done this in a very, very long time. Team Snooks, Team Lovey. Team
As I
Snooks,
say comfortable?
Team Snooks, Team Lovey. Okay, so what you're going to do, here's what you can do. Let me introduce something to you. We have a brand new, hot off the presses, Iron Tribe text community. So what you can do is write this number down. It's 908-351-2799. That's 908-351-CRZY. Crazy. That is our text community, our Iron Tribe text community. We always talk about forming an Iron Tribe. Well, this is your opportunity to be able to text with us directly. This is a number that it's us. We will respond. It really is us. So text that number, and this is what we're going to do. It's a Team Snooks, Team Lovey. What I want you to do is put in I'm going to give you the reason why. When you respond, I want you to vote for either Team Snooks or Team Lovey, but be sure to start it off with a microphone emoji. Do a microphone emoji and just say Team Snooks or Team Lovey. And here's the question. Do you say it, Snooks?
Do I say?
Comfortable or comfortable?
I don't say
Comfortable? Comfortable.
comfortable.
Or comfortable.
It's
Team
comfortable.
Team Lovey is
Whatever.
comfortable.
I'm glad you're comfortable.
Team Snooks is what?
Comfortable.
Okay, so how do you say it? Do you say
I thought we were going to talk about the workshop.
we are, but I'm
You're just
sorry,
trying
you
to
said
shame
that.
me.
So
Oh
here
my
we go.
gosh.
Team Snooks, Team Lovey, go ahead and text your response to 908-351-2799. And it is us. And this way, when we do updates, lives, everything, we have questions. You have things that you even want to recommend to us. I know sometimes it's difficult texting us. Or, I mean, not texting, but difficult emailing or doing whatever going on in a particular thing. Just text us. We all text. So text us at that number. And very beginning, it's going to be a little Autobot just to say, hey, this is, their community. And once you do that, click on the link. Then that way it lets us know that you're part of our community and we'll be good to go. But text us. Let us know. Get comfortable because we're about to go in.
Comfortable. Yes, I am.
No, so the workshop was fantastic. We had people from all over the world that participated this time. We had several people, or a couple people at least. There were at least two people I know of that had called in from London, from the UK. And then we always assume it's London, but it's somewhere in the UK. I know one individual said, I think they're both from London, but London, and then there were people from Texas, Arizona. There were people back east. There were people from all over. There was South Carolina was on the line. Of course, California.
Tennessee, but I'm not sure.
Tennessee. He said by way of Memphis, Tennessee.
Oh, yeah.
So there was quite a few. Yeah, there was.
Okay.
But they were in Arkansas, I think. So there were people.
Arkansas.
There were people from all over. And so keep an ear out, and we'll make sure that everybody knows, particularly those individuals. The first people that will get the announcements will be those individuals that join our Iron Tribe text community. But when you get a chance, please do. We're having a blast. People are loving it. The reviews are good. We have people giving us reviews as soon as we finished. Mm-hmm. But one thing that we're going to do going forward, part of our text community, we're going to start highlighting business owners and what people are doing within our Iron Tribe. And so, Snooks, if you want to do the honors.
Yeah, I just wanted to just give some love to an organization, and it's called Pretty Women Pray, Not Pray. So Pretty Women Pray, Not Pray,
Pray.
not Prey. And I think this is an awesome organization because it's about inspiring, inspiring and enlightening young ladies to reach and operate at their highest potential. And the young lady who actually started it, she started it after she had her daughter. Her name is Tiffany Henderson. Sorry, she started it after she had her daughter. She had resources, but sometimes you get information, but you just don't get all of the information, and you may feel like you're alone. So she started this organization for other women, young girls, and I know COVID is here now, so I'm not real sure what they're doing by way of getting together, but they had functions and things like that. It's a 501. It's a 501c. It's 501c3 nonprofit organization. So check it out at www.prettywomenpray, Pray, not pray, Prey.com. So, just a shout out to Tiffany Henderson and Pretty Women Pray, not Pray. So give her a call. Not give her a call, I'm sorry. Well, she might want you to call her, I don't know.
But check her out.
Check her out. Check out the website and everything. And just let, everyone knows someone who could use some inspiration, especially in this time of, this climate that we're in right now. So
Amen.
Check out the website and give her some love.
And I'll actually add that to our show notes so you can actually see the correct spelling in case you get that mixed up somehow. And we'll also have our
Pray, Pray.
Not Pray, Prey.
Yes.
So anyway, it'll be in our show notes, so go ahead and check that out. And feel free to go to Apple Podcasts and give us a rating. We're trying to get all this stuff up front so we can really get into the meat of the discussion. But also go to Apple Podcast and look up Married into Crazy. Shouldn't have to look it up because you're listening, but go ahead and leave that review and tell 5, 6, 20 people about the podcast so we can expand the community. So with that said,
Right.
Everything that we had so much fun, and there's so many topics that keep coming up. We were getting responses to last week's podcast, which was about burying the dead. And when we said bury the dead, it was about whatever happened in the past, you got to let it go. Just bury that thing, throw some dirt on it, keep it moving. The funny thing is, there was a question that came in and said, well, how do you keep it moving when that thing just won't die? It's crazy. So,
what was that show? Is it called The Undead? The Walking Dead.
Oh, The Walking Dead. So it's like a zombie.
Mm-hmm.
So what? Yeah, really. What if we're supposed to bury the dead, but what if the past is like The Walking Dead and it just keeps coming back? It won't die. It's a zombie. And so these things that existed in the horror films back in the day, they exist in our relationships.
Right.
Think about it. The scariest thing isn't what's living underneath your bed; it was what was sleeping in your bed.
Right.
At some point, in the past, or it could be issues. It could be a variety of things. It could be a trauma, a trigger, something that I don't know happened when you were a child. It could be a relationship with one of your parents that, for whatever reason, abandonment. All these different things that happened, and we recommended that you bury them in order to be able to move on and start afresh, start anew. Because when you're in a relationship like ours, like yours, everyone that's listening, anybody that gets married, you're starting anew as a couple. When you're starting anew, the goal is to try and leave all that baggage at the door, all that stuff. So what if you've got a zombie? Like when I say zombie, we're talking Walking Dead, right? We're talking the undead, the thing that just won't die.
And it's funny too because when you think about zombies, well, the zombies that I've seen, they don't move fast. So you could think that, oh, I got away, and a zombie will smell the blood or smell the whatever, and it knows how to track you. So you think you've let stuff go, and then the next thing you know, here comes that zombie. That zombie's there. It's like, oh, here I am, I'm
so
resurfacing.
True. And I wish I could remember the actual scripture. Look, don't Bible hate, don't scripture hate on me. But there is a scripture that talks about becoming one flesh. When man and woman come together, that they become one flesh. And what do zombies do? They eat flesh. Right?
Yep.
So when those zombies are eating your flesh, they're eating your relationship. They're eating your marriage, destroying it. It's gnawing at you, and it's causing you to not be able to move on and become that new entity, that new relationship, that new being together in Christ. So one thing that we really recommend doing is recognizing this. Recognize that you have a zombie headed off at the pass. The easiest way, as we all know when we watch the zombie movies, how do you kill a zombie? You chop its head off.
Oh, yeah, you chop its head off.
She don't know.
I don't know. I don't like those movies, but yeah, you chop its head och.
You shoot it in the head, you chop its head. When you got Zombieland, you know, are you living in Zombieland? That was a good movie, by the way, both of them. I think there's 3 now. But seriously though, think about it. Those things that keep cropping up, right? They just won't go away. But now that I think about it, how do you, well, first off, before we move on, I was just going to say, there's other monsters that live in our relationships. But before we move on from the zombie, actually, let's talk about all of them before we come up with solutions.
Okay.
So not only do you have zombies, you have vampires.
Yes. Vampires suck your blood.
They do. So
They suck the life out of you.
the energy. So what is blood? Blood is your life
Your
energy,
lifeline.
your life source, right? We're talking about being the lifeblood. And not zombies, but vampires suck the blood out of you. Therein goes your energy. Therein goes what you need to course through your veins in order to keep you alive, do the things you need to.
They also transform you too. Sometimes you look. What was that Lestat interview with a vampire? It's kind of a trip. Sometimes I guess they automatically transform you because if you get bit by a vampire, you become a vampire, right?
If they don't suck all the blood out of you and kill you, yes. But they will leave just enough for you to...
Yes, that's right.
But think about it. So who are the vampires in your relationship? What are they? They could be a variety of things.
It could be your in-laws. It could be your own family. It could be your people you work with. Someone.
It could be your kids.
Your friend, yeah.
Because them little monsters, suck the life out of you. At the very minimum, they suck the money out of my wallet.
Here you go.
At least the little one does, because...
But you get plenty of replenishing. Calm down.
Please. Hey, see, right there? No, see, that's one of the people that placate you. But think about it. Sucking the life out of you. And the challenge with dealing with vampires is that when you lose that energy, if you've got the in-laws, if you've got the kids, if you got people sucking the job, sucking the life out of you.
You have nothing left to give your spouse.
Amen. Come on, say that again.
You have nothing left to give your spouse.
Go ahead, speak on that.
Well, because it's like a sponge, If your sponge is dry, what is it going to clean? Absolutely nothing. It has to be replenished. You have to have water, So if I have nothing, I can give nothing. So, there's really nothing even to speak on. If I don't have it, you can't get it. It's like when you come in the house, I've had a long day at work and I'm tired or whatever. And the first thing, I don't even get in the door good. What's for dinner?
Oh, man.
I'm like, really?
What just happened? What just happened?
Got here
20 minutes ago. We're sitting here in the office talking, and just catching up. I was at home working. Snooks was at work. And we're just catching up. And our youngest, our 17-year-old, walks in, and it was just like, when you gonna do my hair? And I'm like, hello.
Well, to her.
Don't be making excuses.
No,
for that.
I'm not. Because she called me at work earlier today, and she was asking me about it, and I was like, she was, Mom, you want to do my hair today? I'm like, no, I don't. And so I told her when I got home, we would talk about it. And so she texted me before I left the job, and I was like, when I see you, I will talk to you about it. So.
And she just came in and went straight for the.
She was like,
Look,
when you do my hair.
Come on, it is the kids, because she came in and she went straight for the jugular. She went straight. She saw that vein just pulsing on Snooks' neck, and she just jumped right on it and just bit.
Well, but that's just one little example. But it's like when you come home and you're already depleted, and then you have this other job and these other responsibilities that you have to take care of, and you don't even have it in you to take care of it. So you're either gonna just ignore everyone and just be like, forget it, I'm not doing it. I'm gonna just go and hide or just take time for myself, or I'm going to come in and then I'll start doing it, but then I'll start being resentful because I'm like, shoot, I've been at work all day, and why I gotta come in here and do blah blah blah, you know what I'm saying? And I'll be very quiet about it. I won't, make a big deal about it, or their C. I'll come in, and as soon as someone says something to me, I'm going off. Because how dare you? I've just got home. Why are you asking me about something that you can do yourself when you've been here all day? I'm only one person,
Why does I feel like she was talking directly to me?
Because I am. No. No, but you know what I'm saying. It's like sometimes, just being very transparent, it's like there are times when I feel like, does nothing get done if I'm not here?
Right.
No one knows how to do anything unless I say, or unless I, it's not like, they do what they want to do, and when it's not favorable, I should say, but it's like, okay, come on, people.
No, Well, let's talk about, so we had a vampire situation today where there was somebody ate some Chinese food and had some sauce that it looked like sweet and sour sauce that was spilled on the floor, was on the recycle bin, and then on the wall over by the garbage can. Mm-hmm. So the first thing I do is I text everybody in the house. I'm like, hey, whoever had Chinese food,
come get your stuff up.
Come get your stuff up. You handle it. And you got kitchen duty. Whoever that is, handle it. It is approximately 7 o'clock at night, and Snooks had to go off and text somebody. Says, okay, clean the kitchen, but I still see this sauce.
I'm like, why is this still here? Because everyone's able-bodied.
Been in and out. People been cooking the whole 9 yards. I'm like, okay, so I'm letting it go. Like, okay, I'm going to see how long this happens, because tonight somebody will be cleaning.
Well, I'm not going to let it go. I did let it go. I wasn't over there, like, really I didn't get to really see it. Love you. I saw the text message, and I was like, oh, okay, well, hopefully it's taken care of. But I didn't go to the pantry or anything. I just happened to go over there because I wanted some pistachios. And I was like, what the heck? And I saw it and remembered the text message. I'm like, are you kidding me right now? This is still going on? So.
No, it's crazy how vampires, yeah. I think we gave birth to a few of them. I think we all did, though, as parents. But then you have your in-laws, you have coworkers, you have friends. Mm-hmm. That, hey, man, why don't you go out with me? Hey, man, you need to get away. You need to handle it. Come on with us. Come on with the fellas. Or let's go with the lady. Let's go do this. Let's go to the club. Let's do this. Let's do that. And some of those people suck the life out of your relationship because, again, it comes back to Iron Tribe. You might be hanging out with the wrong folks. So you got to be around like-minded individuals. Look, when the Bible says, you need to be equally yoked, it wasn't just you and your spouse. I'm going to expand that to you need to be equally yoked with the people you surround yourself with.
I like that. Yeah.
So it has to be the same. But don't hang out with a bunch of vampires, and don't let the zombies of past come back either. Now there's other monsters though. Like what other monsters? I'm curious. There's mummies. There's werewolves. So
there's.
Well, what about mummies?
Well, a mummy is. You could be the mummy in your own relationship, I feel like. Because what is a mummy? A mummy is it's wrapped up, it's the outside is preserved, they look the same apparently, but the inside is dead.
Ooh,
so
say that.
I could be walking around here looking like I look, but on the inside I'm dead as far as my relationship goes. And I could say, let's just go back to year 4 of our relationship. When I said I wanted a divorce, I was dying on the inside. I looked normal. I didn't look any different. But on the inside, as far as where we were in our relationship, it wasn't vibrant. There was no life being pumped into us. I was like, I have to get out of this because I am dying, and I was able to verbalize that. But there are so many people who don't verbalize that, and they stay in the relationship and they stay married for years and years and years. What ends up happening is you go through the motions where all we are now, we end up it just becomes a roommate situation, I'm here, you're here, we paying the bills, we're, conversation is very subsurface. It's not no depth in at all, very shallow, and because those feelings have died off as far as like, and of course this is just my little, that's what I think.
It's your
but-
take, your perception is
yeah,
valid.
exactly. Those feelings that I had for my spouse, those just started dying off for whatever reason. I don't know if it's because we just stopped communicating. I don't know if it's because, life gets in the way. Maybe something happened. We weren't able to get away from the zombies, or, someone else came and the vampire came and sucked out the life. It could be a number of things, but so many, there are a lot of people who walk around like mummies. You look regular. The outside, nothing's changed on the outside. All your organs are there, except for you're dead on the inside when it comes to your relationship.
Come on, I think about social media. So you have a lot of people out there that look good, smell good, putting on airs, making it look as if they're living their life the way that, to a certain level, you're like, oh, I want to be like them. And we have to be careful. Because, look, I'm just going to tell you right now, I put my pants on the same way y'all put your pants on. I sit on the toilet just like y'all sit on the toilet. We eat food. We do. I mean, everybody, no one is above challenges. No one's above or beyond making mistakes. No one's above having, difficulties in their relationships. We all do. But to sit there and make it look as if, I got my stuff together. Every hair is in place, and I look good, I smell good. Look at me, my 30 seconds. You have no idea what's going on. There are people out there right now, people that I respect, people that I really liked that were influencers, if you want to call them that.
I don't even, what is that?
Is
Is that a new thing? Because people are
no,
starting.
just to you.
Oh. I'm like, influencer. I'm thinking of someone. Is it an educator or something like that? And
They
then
should
someone
be.
says something about
Those are the true influencers. But
social media influencer. I'm like,
Okay,
okay,
look, we're not gonna go there.
I'm sorry.
we're not going to go there in this podcast.
I just don't know what they.
I know we're going to get the kids to educate you, but no, we have some people, like there's some individuals out there that that talk about having a solid marriage, and they're doing it and they're giving advice, and but behind the scenes they're having so many difficulties, and rather than being transparent, and I'm not saying everybody has to put their stuff out there. Not everyone's as comfortable as we are, discussing the good, the bad, the ugly, or the indifferent, but then don't talk about any of it. But some people, and then they come up divorced, or they come up with certain things that are going on that were insurmountable. And I'm not saying that we're beyond that, because we've been there. And just because we made it back doesn't mean that we don't still have challenges that we need to make sure, but we're much more proactive about heading them off at the pass. There's some other people out there, though, that are mummies. They look good. They want to project a certain image, but inside they're dead. And we have to be careful of that. There's another monster out there, werewolves. I'm trying to think of them all right now. But what about werewolves? So werewolf is that being that when the moon comes out, like they look like a normal person all day long. This is good, everything's nice. I go, but when that moon, the full moon comes out, they become a beast. They turn around, the nails grow. One of my favorite movies when I was growing up, man, I loved American Werewolf. Oh, I love.
Oh, Abbott and Costello.
I love.
Is it the werewolf? I don't know who they meet anyway.
Yes, but that particular one where they go in the museum and Abbott and Costello, they meet all of them. They meet the vampire, the mummy. They meet Frankenstein.
Yeah.
I forgot about Frankenstein. But they meet all these monsters. But anyway, that got me off on a tangent.
I didn't.
One of my favorite movies growing up was American Werewolf in London. I loved that movie. That was so good. I mean, now to watch it, you're like, because I like those kind of movies. But that one was dope to me. And I don't know, but a werewolf, that's people you see on a daily basis. They look great. They look fine. Everything's good. And by all accounts, they're fantastic. They're in the community. They're doing great things. But then the slightest thing, that full moon could rise, and it just sets them off, and they become this beast at home. And you don't want to be that werewolf. You don't want to be that individual that you've got a short fuse, that trigger to where the slightest thing sets you off, and all of a sudden you just pivot and you are this horrible spouse. And it happens both ways. It's like those TV shows that show like Bridezillas whatever that were just, very difficult people to deal with. Same thing, it happens to men, happens to women. It's one of those things that when you are married, make sure that you're trying to be, consistent. There's congruency between what you project and who you are during the day, and then you've got to find a way to make sure you balance out or manage those triggers or those things, and be honest with yourself, knowing that, some of these things set me off, and I need to figure out what it is, rather than just saying, "Oh, that's just me," or "That's just how she is."
Or not just you said something about how they are, during the day, because I know you're specifically talking about the changes that happen, but it's how you are. Werewolves in relationships are those that camouflage who they are in front of other people also.
Oh, they blend in with everybody else.
When you're out and about, you're you're looking great and you're doing whatever, but when you come home, home could represent the full moon, because that's when you come home to those closest that you love, your wife, your spouse, or whatever. That's when you transform and you become something totally different. Because outside of outside of the moon shining, the werewolf looks like a regular person. And
The Lycan.
He's like Underworld, yeah, but he's camouflaged basically. He's not who he really say he is. He's he represents something totally different. He's from a different type of pack.
Was it always he?
Okay.
Could be a she.
Anyway, let me do my part.
She wolf. Yeah. No, and it's true. I mean, and it's crazy though that now that we're talking about these monsters in relationships, what's the monster in your relationship? Could it be Frankenstein? Where, we talked about burying the dead, but the thing about Frankenstein was that it was resurrected from dead parts. And you got all these dead parts that are out there. There's, the bad relationship that I had, 15 years ago. There was this other dead part, that was, something that happened to me when I was a child. There's another dead part where, so all these things come together and it comes together and it forms, Frankenstein's monster. Mm-hmm. And what we don't want to be in our relationship is Frankenstein's monster either, where we have all these negative things that were feeding into us and we just don't have the ability to move beyond that and be alive, to be truly alive, because we're made up of all this dead tissue. We're made up of all these dead parts.
And wasn't initially Frankenstein, sorry. I want to say he wasn't able to make decisions for himself initially. Is that right?
For the most part, yeah. For the most part.
So you could be following another person's lead, and that will create some issues in your marriage. Someone outside of an outside influence or whatever, outside influence. You following the lead of someone else, or you're the dead tissue, or you're getting some ideas from this person because that's what they do, or I'm getting something. Well, that works for John, or something like that.
It's funny you say that, because there was I can't remember which one it was, but there's different variations on the theme for all these different monsters. There was a series of movies that had Frankenstein that couldn't control certain body parts either, like the arm.
I remember that.
There was an arm, like it was the Frankenstein's monster that came together, but it was like his heart was
of,
good. He had a good heart and a good mind, but the arm wanted to kill. It was like the arm of a murderer.
Arm of a murderer, or something
Right?
like
Yeah.
that, right?
Or it was put together. So the arm, it was doing its own thing, and it's funny you're saying that. All these different parts are compelling you to do these different things. We got to take control of our relationships and of ourselves, and make a decision about what we want to be, where we want to go with our relationships. And I'm not saying it's easy. I don't think at any point we've ever discussed in 99 episodes now that the things we talk about, the solutions that we present, that work for us doesn't necessarily mean it's going to work for you. It just means that there's different things. There's different arrows you put in your quiver, different weapons, different tools to help you, to give you resources. But it's one of those things where you just have to try and try and try again. And it's difficult. Anytime we're talking about change, it's going to require discomfort.
Well, the first thing too is you just have to have a made up mind. because if you're not really ready to dig in and just do it and say, you know what, I'm just gonna go for it and I'm just gonna do it, it won't be done. A lot of times, even when we want something so bad, we are scared to make the move to get it done, to do it, because we think, well, it's not going to work anyway, or it's not going to change nothing. So why am I, And I feel like a lot of that is more spoken out of fear, because that means if I try it and I go for it and I don't do it, that makes me a failure. Whereas if I just stay and I don't do anything, well, it's not my fault. I think we've talked about this before, where, my inability to do something does not make me a failure in my eyes. It just means that I just couldn't get it done. But if I try and do it and I can't do it, I am faced with the fact that I failed. So,
Right.
So
what do we do? So how do we put these monsters at bay? What are some recommendations? Action steps. If we had to say that there's 2 to 3 things that a couple can do to move beyond or move away from being that monster or allowing those monsters in their lives, what would you do? Like, what would be like, if I was telling you I got these monsters in my life and it's affecting my marriage, what would you tell me?
Well, first thing I'd say, we have to identify what those monsters are. And then, once you know what your monster is, you find out how to kill it, right? In the movie.
Yep, that's true.
The first thing, like you said, okay, it's a zombie. All right, well, we got to chop his head off. Well, how am I going to get close enough to chop his head off? Well, so strategically, you're going to have to figure out a way to, what is your zombie? What is, all zombies die the same, but now you have to find out what your zombie is. My zombie, when we were year 4, was our inability to, well, I won't say just our inability, but how my zombie was my in-laws, basically, and your inability to, what I felt like you didn't protect me enough. And so the resentment
It grew.
And so I'm like, I'm just going to chop this head off, and I got to do what I got to do. So.
Yeah, and I'll say early in our relationship, I'd say that one of my, I won't call it a zombie, maybe a vampire, was, let's call my werewolf. It was more of a transformation. My werewolf was, nice guy, look good, this, that, and the other. Not saying I look good. I did look good.
You did look good, babe.
But no, but my werewolf was like pornography. From a very young age, I'd been exposed to pornography, and it was like a normal part of my life. But then I had these expectations about what intimacy was supposed to look like. Mm-hmm. Pornography really dictated who I was when I was overseas, when I was in the military. It really determined how I approached relationships and infringed on other people's relationships, because I had no respect for the sanctity of true intimacy in relationships and marriage and all of that. And so I'd say that was at work because it caused a transformation. I went from that guy that was like, oh yeah, that's my buddy, that's my guy. Yeah, but don't leave your wife around me. And so that's who I was back then. But like you said, you have to recognize your demons, those things that they were. And, so you're right. I think you have to recognize what your monster is and figure out a way to kill it. That's step 1. But once you recognize it, you know what it is, and you said, create a strategy. How am I going to approach this? But become committed to it as well. That you have to have that goal. We talk about having a vision for your relationship. We're going to keep coming back to that. You have to have a vision, because if you're not working towards something, then you're walking aimlessly.
Yeah.
You're just walking around circles with no destination in mind.
Exactly.
No vision for what you want to accomplish. And so if you recognize your monster, you figure out, okay, I know how to kill it, or I know what I need to do to kill it. I got to create a strategy to make sure that I can chip away at it, or I can really get after it. But I have to know why. My why. What am I fighting for? What am I doing? And you put those things in place, then and only then is it going to be worthwhile, because that discomfort will arise. It will get difficult.
Well, and also, too, you have to know what you can do. So there's aid to help. You might not be able to chop that zombie's head off by yourself.
Come on.
So you got to call for some help. I need some assistance. And it's okay to get assistance. That does not make you weak. That makes you realize that, oh, hey, I need this. The strong person seeks help. The weak person stays and thinks that they can, you can't take it all by yourself. So, and it doesn't make you a weak person to say, I need some help. I need some assistance. because at the end of the day, the goal is to overcome and kill the zombie or kill the vampire or get rid of the mummy or in the werewolf or whatever.
Right.
So how you do that is, if you cannot do it alone, you
Get a coach.
get a coach
You get a coach.
or a couple of them.
Yeah. Hey, couple to couple coaching by Married into Crazy. No, but no, seriously though. And how do you? We talked about knowing your zombies, knowing your monsters. How do you do that? You got to take the DISC assessment. You have to be able to recognize not just your strengths but your blind spots, and be able to recognize what you become in your adaptive state. Are you transforming into something else in certain situations? Do you know what your demons are? Do you know what your monsters are? Do you know how to deal with it? Do you know how you deal with monsters as they present themselves? Half the battle is in knowing your preferences and tendencies. And when you take the assessment and then an introduction to it with us, so I'll do, there's a variety of things that you'll find on our coaching page on our website. If you go to marriedintocrazy.com/coaching, or just go to our website, Married Into Crazy, and then just click on the tab that says coaching, and you'll be able to kind of sift through some of the information that's there. The why, the big why behind it is, how would you feel if you figured out that I now know why I do the things that I do? I can get to the root of, my transgressions, or why I have a tendency to respond a certain way to my spouse when he or she acts a certain way, or they do things, or my in-laws, or my kids, or whatever, my coworkers. That's what's behind the DISC. There's a strong why that you can attach yourself to. It's like, okay, now that makes sense. But now that you know, okay, this is what I like to do in these situations, knowing it ahead of time gives you so much more power over being able to respond the way that you want to, rather than responding the way that you're used to.
Right.
Makes a huge difference. So there's also a spot on there where you can get a 15-minute conversation with us. It's free, just to touch bases, having a discussion about, these are some of the things that are going on. Can you help me with that? Or, just see if we even vibe. There's different things. And I would say act soon, because we're going to be cutting off our coaching here in a little bit because the clients are coming in. We always want to be able to give everyone attention that they're due and not feel as if we're being spread too thin. So because of our coaching platforms, because of the workshops, because of so many things that we've been doing, I want to make sure there's only about 5 spots left for the next quarter. And I want to make sure that, those individuals that need it, please reach out to us. And you have 2 ways now. You can text us at 908-351-2799. That's 908-351-CRZY. Crazy. So text us and say, hey, you know what? I need to know more about your coaching. I need to know more about DISC. I agreed with you on that. Oh, my monster is this. I would love to hear what monster is affecting your relationship. So go ahead and join our text community. Text us. It could just be one word: werewolf, vampire, mummy,
Right.
zombie, Frankenstein. Is there a monster that we forgot about? And if there is, tell us about it. So I think that's good for now. But what I really want to do is make sure that we have enough time to go on to the I Can't Cancel Couples.
2 for the road.
2 for the road. Oh, good Lord.
Sorry.
She's just throwing it around, slam dunking it. She thinks she's over here playing spades and just throwing it down. Bam!
Sorry, guys.
Okay, so we're going to pull one affirmation for one spouse and another for the other.
I can give a compliment.
I can share more often.
All right.
So those are the 2 that you need to focus on. Somebody choose. Choose.
Who's gonna do what?
I can share more often.
And I can give a compliment.
And so what we want you to do is focus on that for the remainder of the week. Share more, give compliments. You do those little things, because that's what this I Can is all about. The I Can for couples. Do the little things, and you're going to find that it makes the bigger things so much easier. That's what our relationships are built on.
That's right.
The little things done consistently.
That's right.
So for the next 8 minutes and 46 seconds, we're going to observe silence. We're going to observe silence for social justice. It's a time to reflect on the challenges that are facing our nation so that we can come together as a community. So, anything else you want to share?
No, just make sure that you check out our website, like Lovey was saying, and really it's time to really start dealing with the demons and the monsters. And, a lot of people, they've carried their monsters around for so long, they just don't even recognize them as monsters. You know something's going on, but you just don't know which one it is. So get on there, get on the website, take the assessment, give us a call so we can help.
Amen. And so until the next time, oh, and you know what? Check out the testimonials. Don't just listen to us. Read and listen to the testimonials. There's videos, there's written ones. You know what? Do that, and I think you'll be pleased. So until the next time, be blessed.
Bye-bye.